start. And they are so clean looking with the spread on their head. So they are, I mean, you know, they have a big bill and you wouldn't want them to try to poke you. We have the whooping crane that they've been training and taking thousands and thousands of dollars just to get a few whooping cranes that come down to Florida. Now, I've told you before that I've gone to the celery fields, and one of the birds that are the most evident, because they're one of the most largest, are the Sandhill Cranes. And sometimes they go to this lake for night, and sometimes they go over there, over here. But they stand, they look like people walking around, and they mate for life. So you'll have the father and the mother, and then the little shorter are the ones, the juveniles, that are almost ready to become an adult. And they come in by the hundreds, usually not all 100 together, and they sort of fly out sometimes with 4, like 2 children and the adults. And they're just spectacular. And they are so clean looking with the spread on their head, and they stand up, and when they stretch their neck, I don't know how tall, because in the bird book it doesn't say when they give the length, whether that's with the bird stretching his head or not stretching his head. So I read in the paper the other day that in Kentucky, they're going to be given license, and they're going to pay for a license so they can shoot just a few, they said, few of these Sandhill Cranes. Now, these Sandhill Cranes are like pets. They even came up to Mark in one of his cameras. Of course, they can't have been known to chase a man across the golf course, because he was standing where the crane wanted to put his nest, where it had always been before the golf course moved into his nest. So they are, I mean, you know, they have a big bill and you wouldn't want them to try to poke you. But if somebody's going to shoot them, they're huge. They go up, not very fast, pretty fast, up in the air when they take off, and they don't fly very high. And a 10-year-old, I mean, so it's all right for the. My father took me pheasant hunting on the Hayes farm next to the Hayes Road near Washington Courthouse, Ohio, and he would go there to shoot pheasants. And I always liked the pheasant feathers he brought home. So one time I said, "May I please go?" And I think I was 6. And I had on boots that didn't have any heels or anything, and about killed my feet. But I went anyway, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. So I'm not against people who are, shooting birds, because they usually are regulated, and they get money in to help save the birds and help save the population of birds. But these birds are in Kentucky, which means they probably will migrate down, and they'll be our birds that they're shooting. And go ahead and shoot birds, but when you shoot a crane, and it's such an easy target, I wouldn't call it a sport. I think that's really not it. They are nice and kind, and they mate for life, and think how they mate. And how are they supposed to know if they're shooting a male or female? When they shoot, like ducks and different things and pheasants, you shoot the male. And so the female can have more babies. These look exactly alike, and so how are they going to know which is male or female? And then, somewhat close, maybe not right over their heads, close to Kentucky, we have the whooping crane that they've been training and taking thousands and thousands of dollars just to get a few whooping cranes that come down to Florida. And this isn't the only place they come, but there's still very few whooping cranes. And do you think they know the difference? Way down on the ground, up like that? That's another big thing they can shoot. So I think it's one of the worst ideas Kentucky's ever come up. I understand out west they do it, but let them do what they want. But they are shooting our birds that come down here to Florida every winter, and I don't like it. And I hope somebody, I'm sure the Audubon Society will have something to say. Maybe not. Maybe it's out of our hands, but at least I had something to say. If you like me at all, you're supposed to push the L-I-K-E button down here. And if I'm one of your favorites, after you watch me a few times, maybe I'll be one of your favorites. Don't forget, down in the comments, put what you want me to talk about. And also, just tell us things that you want to talk about, which I've already said. And also, don't forget, is there anything else I'm to say? Subscribe. I don't know why, and I don't know any of this. I'm just sitting in front of a camera blogging away, and my son will take care of the rest, which is a good deal. But he's still trying to tell me what to do. I don't